A very good morning to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 9th day of September 2024. It is the day when the country starts 3 days of mourning following the death of the pupils of Hillside and Academy in Endarasha in Nyeri County. 3 days that were declared by President William Ruto, and this is what's going to happen is that the country, flags will fly at half-mast at all government offices and every other place that is expected to fly a flag, be it military bases, be it also the naval bases and government offices and diplomatic missions of Kenya all around the country. So that's part of it. And also happening, we have got, and this is happening at current, the Northeastern Development Initiative high-level consultative meeting that brings together cabinet secretaries, governors, senators, MPs and partners at the current residence of the deputy president. So they are meeting there today, and Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba, Water Cabinet Secretary Eric Muga will be talking about the 15 projects that they have put up that are being covered, and Abdiaziz Hashim is also going to be briefing us on that, and we'll be catching up with that as it happens. So that's just part of the news cycle that we are going to be keeping up with. And also to inform you today is that the CPAC is meeting today, and this is they're going to be interrogating the reports of the Auditor General for the financial statements for Tharaka Nithi County, and this is for the financial years 2020, 2021, 2021, 2022, and 2022, 2023 at 2 a.m. And also the Governor of KBC County is going to be also facing that committee, and also the County Assembly of Narok will be there to interrogate the reports of the financial of the Auditor General for financial statements for that county government. So that is what we're going to be covering as part of our news cycle today. And remember that you can get interactive with us. Our handle is at KBC Channel 1. The hashtag is SportsCheckKBC. Sign language interpreter within this hour is Brian Moraro. So we'll be getting into those conversations. 3 conversations you're going to have. The one, and I'll start with the one at the tail end. It's all about the 2023-2024 athletic season in review. It's coming to a close. You know that we've got the final Diamond League meeting that's taking place over the weekend, over 2 days. And this is in Brussels, Friday and Saturday, the 13th and the 14th. That brings a close to the Diamond League season this year. But also, how has Kenya performed with the events that they've competed in? And there are about 5 of them. Then next week, starting Monday, and for 3 days, there's going to be a conference on sports science and technology that's going to be taking place at the Strathmore University. We're going to be speaking to former athlete Martin Keno, who is also now a commentator and is involved in sports business. What is the role of sports and technology in the development of sport in the country? So that's going to be our second conversation. But last night, we had the closing ceremony of the Paralympic Games Paris 2024. It was live on KBC Channel 1. Those games coming to a close, and Kenya having just 1 medal. And also in studio, we're going to be having that conversation. And I can see that we have the silver medalist at the games. His name is Samson Ojuka. He's going to be joining us on the set shortly. So we can just, as he gets his microphone ready, so we are going to have him joining us on set. But also joining us on set is his coach, Henry Mzungi, who is already on set with us. Coach, welcome.
Thank you.
So, Coach, let us, just take a look at, the whole idea of para-athletics and the culture, the profiles of those people who participate, and this, and the coaching pathway that you opted to take, and now here you are. You've presented to us an African record holder and also a silver medalist at the Paralympic Games.
It is grateful. It is my first time to represent Kenya as a coach, and I'm also happy for Samson because I can see what we worked on. We have finally delivered. Thank you.
Okay, so just give us, your background in para-athletics and also getting to a point where, for you, a para-athlete yourself, that is something that, very many people would not know, but getting into this and, from a competitor and now as a coach.
Yeah, as you have said, I used to be an athlete. I represented Kenya for the last 12 years in Grand Prix, Africa Games, World Championships, and 2 Paralympic Games. That is in London, 2012, and in Rio, Brazil, 2016. And eventually I decided to do coaching, and I transitioned. I went to Mozambique for my course, and that's why I decided to take part in coaching.
What it is that you have been a sprint. Sprint is your forte, and this is in the T13, and also at times you've been the T12 or the T11. Let's give us, the categorization about that, because we know the T11, 12, 13 is mainly about the visually impaired athletes.
T11 athletes are totally blind athletes, and T12 are athletes who have a little bit of sight. T13 can see further. It is almost a mainstream athlete who doesn't have a visually impaired challenge.
So sprints and the opportunities that come with it, and also the challenges. Just take us through that.
There is a big challenge when it comes to facilities, because as we can see, the developing countries usually struggle when it comes to equipments, because they come with cost and they are very expensive. But step by step, we would like to urge the government, the corporates, to invest in sprints, and we can do it. We have witnessed athletes doing it recently, and we hope that we can do it better.
All right. Well, and also joining us in studio is the only medalist from the Paris Paralympic Games, and his name is Samson Ojuka Opio. On his BB he had the name of, Opio, and that's because that is what they would indicate as a surname on your passport. All right, and on the table with us, you've come with a case. So before we even get into a big conversation, just open the contents of that case, because that is a real source of pride for the country.
Okay, this is a box from Louis Vuitton. I think France, the people from France like to do things in a particular way. So they gave us such a big box for the medal, and in it is the silver medal which I got from the games.
Okay, so you can be opening it, and just giving us is that you are an athlete who was torn between two things, becoming a sprinter and a long jump. Just give us those two as you display that silver medal from the Paralympic Games to us. You can actually lift it up.
Yeah, this is the medal. Yeah. So I'm still doing sprinting. So I decided to measure on long jump because I had so much potential in the long jump as compared to the 100 meters. But it is the 100 meters which has actually propelled me to the long jump, because you need to sprint before you make the jump. So it has made me more effective in doing the jumps.
Now, just doing the we've seen, for example, one of the best, a legendary sprinter in the name of Carl Lewis. He was also, at one point, considered the best long jumper of his generation, and also doing the sprints. What was the challenge, doing about the 100 meters? And just to mention, we saw Karsten Warholm against. There was a story of Karsten Warholm and Armand Duplantis, competing in 100 meters, and Duplantis won. So why? I mean, what was challenging about the 100?
Okay, I cannot say that it is challenging as such. In fact, I will be going to the 100 come the Commonwealth Games in 2026. I'll be going back to the 100 meters because they are similar events. They go hand in hand. So I'm at this particular time, I think I'll just major on those two events and see which one makes me happier.
Okay. Well, let's just talk about, your journey from, we'd have to go 2 years back, for you progressing and eventually qualifying for Paris. Just take us back to 2 years and see how, what you saw and the things that you had to work with Coach Henry here.
The journey has been really hard. Thinking about the tough moments that I've gone through leading up to this silver medal, it makes you want to shed tears. But it's been a very long journey. We've been going through qualifications, and I want to thank the government for its support and Kenya National Paralympic Committee for the support that they have given us.
Uh-huh. Okay, so there you have Samson Ujuka. He is a silver medalist, and this is at the Paris Paralympic Games, the only medal that Kenya won. And also happening right now, we have, and this is in Karen, at the official residence of the Deputy President. We've got the Northeastern Development Initiative High-Level Consultative Forum, and we've got the Cabinet Secretary for Lands, Alice Wahome, speaking. Let's listen to that. It's going to be giving us an update on the work that is being done there. Naromoru actually should be the correct name for that. We shall be joining Jacob Kioria in just a short while for that story. So in studio with us, we have got the silver medalist at the Paralympic Games, Samson Ojuka Opio. That is the name that was on his bib. And his coach, Henry Nzungi, they're back in the country. We know we had the closing ceremony last evening. So, Samson, we were with you, and it was just about your journey. Let's actually go back to your sprint days. 12.39 in the 100 meters, 25.19 in the 200. That was way back in Dubai 2019. You were 2 years into parasport then. How did you see that growth in the initial 2 years?
Okay. My improvement has been consistent, and with time, after 2019, I go to 2020, where I went to Morocco and Tunisia, where I improved those times. In the 100 meters, I've been doing the 12s, but after focusing on long jump, the jumps had started to improve. Because I started to use different strategies, and heading into 2024 Olympic Games, I was sure that I would do well.
Well, long jump for you, you also had, a chance in 2020. Let's just go back to Paris 2023, 5.58. Quite a coincidence. Almost 1 year apart. In the long jump, your transition to long jump, what are the first things that you had to change, and pick up, given that, long jump is actually a technical event. There is a way how you pace yourself up to the down the runway to the board and also jumping.
Okay, I had to change a lot of things. Things.
Samson, we'll be coming to your transition from a sprinter to, a long jumper. Just apologies for that, but we've got to keep up with this story. Okay. Remember that John Jacob Kioria is at the Naromoru Hospital in Nyeri County, and this is one of the places where students of Hillside Academy in Endarasha are receiving treatment. Over to you, John Jacob Kioria. Move on to the Kenya International Convention Center, where we've got the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury and National Planning, the Honorable John Mbadi, who is speaking at the launch of the 2025-2026 budget preparation process. I have been informed we'll be going there a little bit later. But let's get back to a conversation. It is about parasport. The Paralympic Games coming to a close in Paris last night with the closing ceremony. And there was the formal one, and after that there was a DJ set that was set up for everyone to enjoy. And Kenya picked up one medal, a silver medal in the T37 long jump, an African record of 6.2 meters by Samson Ojuka Opio. And he is in studio with us, and his coach Henry Nzungi, who is here with us. And Samson, you were talking to us about the transition from sprint to the technical event that is a long jump. Just give us that whole idea of changing events and the changes that you had to make, such that you start off with 5.58 meters, quite a coincidence, happened in Paris twice for you, and also in Kobe, Japan, moving up to 5.73.
Okay, as I said, I had to change a lot of things. At first, I used to weigh about 92 kilograms. I had to cut my weight from 92 to about 77. So
15 kgs.
15 kgs.
So what was the bulk that you had? Was it solid mass, or was it just, you were just a lot of person?
I had a lot of muscle, and I was very big, and I used to go to the gym a lot. So I had such a big frame, and which would not have been very ideal for long jump. So I had to develop very lean muscles and reduce the amount of fat maybe in my body, so that I could be able to make the jumps. That is one of the adjustments I had to make. So I want to thank also coaching and performance science and nutrition who actually aided my journey towards the long jump. Yeah.
Just give us, that change of, body mass. I mean, one of the things that you had to do was to retain a lot of power, because you've got to do the leap from the board and go over 5 meters. And there's about a meter and a half before you get to the pit, which many people actually, if you ask them to try do it, they actually cannot. Coach, isn't it true?
It is true.
So, but for you to fly, to do that, motion, start getting into the pit, doing 5.5 meters, 5.8, and eventually now 6.2.
Okay, it's not an easy thing to do. I acknowledge that, but through consistent training and proper guidance, I had many people who were actually interested and knew that I could do it. I developed it. The long jump was something I also acquired from my friend Vincent Mutai, who actually was actually like my mentor going into the jumps. He motivated me and told me that I could actually do it. So we will train.
Where is Vincent Mutai hiding? He's still hiding in Chebole?
Yes, he's still hiding in Chebole, but I think he'll soon come out. Yes.
So look, at that point, by the way, when you were coming in, Vincent Mutai was, the main long jumper, Henry.
Yes.
Coming into 2019, because I think he had won 3 gold medals in Morocco in 2019. Yeah. Was it 2018 or
2019?
2019.
Yeah.
3 gold medals coming up and doing that. What was that competition you had with him, and the improvements that you've made, since making that transition?
Vincent Mutai, I can say that he was an active competitor. We did lots of things with him, but I think due to he developed a small injury, which heading into the games, which I think hindered his approaching towards the qualification for the 2024 Paris Games. But I think he will kick back and come back.
Well, and let me come to you, Coach Henry Nzungi.
Yes.
When you work with Samson here, making sure that he gets his approach to the board right, and then eventually the jump. Yeah. What are the things that you keep looking at whenever you work with him, that to ensure that he's always at performing at peak?
One, I ensure that he gets his steps right. His speed must be on top, and his body posture must be upright in order for him to get the board. Yeah.
Well, just talk about that, the upright posture, and then something, you can talk about that, because, we could, there is the natural way where somebody, when you start running, you will start, with a bend and then get upright.
It is always commendable for the athlete to run when his body is a little bit on high, because when you run and you are bending downwards, it shows that you are not focused on where you should step and how you should fly, because after the board you have to fly to the slot where you should be landing. So and also it is also improve on speed. So the first like 10 meters you should sprint when you are down, but after you get to the full speed, then you have to change your body to the high. Yeah.
Now, learning to adjust to that, because we know that the long jump runway doesn't have markers. This is 10 meters, this is 20, this is 30. Yeah. Just give us a whole idea of how you transition through by the time you get to the board, actually by the time you get to the board, so that you know how you're going to get that correct step on the board so that you can leap.
Yeah, so what we usually do, we measure the runway, and the athlete always knows the steps that he stepped before getting the board. So it is either 60 steps or 55 steps or 50 steps, depending on the comfort of the athlete. So when he's running, he's counting the steps. So he usually knows when to run when you are down, and when to run when you are upright.
Yeah. So Juka, now take us through that, basically the length of the runway that you prefer running on, because there are those who prefer to start from just where the line starts, and there are those who can take a few steps and then accelerate towards the board.
Yeah, my approach is actually I take a few steps, then I start running from the 31 meters mark. And the speed that I'm using has to be the same, has to be like around 3.9 seconds. If I fail to get 3.9 seconds exactly, I miss the board. So that's the approach. So heading into these games, I had not my runway on hitting the board, I used to change all the time. It was not consistent, even 3 days into the event. And it was so frustrating because each time you increase your speed or get some adrenaline, you miss the board. So it's a very technical event, and I think just 3 days into the games is when now I was maybe getting somewhat of perfect runway. And it was still a coordination of my coach, who had friends, a coach from Egypt. I think you could see him from the touch lines. And it was such a coordinated effort.
Actually, it's very interesting. I mean, your time at because Compiègne and then moving on to the village. Yes. So you were still training there.
Yes.
What was the main work at Compiègne, coach?
It was runway, because he was always missing the board. So we had to work on the runway. I think like 80% of our time we used to work on runway, because in other aspects he was good. In speed, in technique, in strength he was perfect, but the runway was a little bit challenging. So we had to measure on the runway.
Now, getting to the games proper, there you are, 5.58 is, you're saying 3 days into the games, so the game starts around the 28th. You're going to be competing the next week on Wednesday.
Yeah.
What was that kind of pressure on you just to get that motion right?
I was under a lot of pressure. Many people don't know this, but I actually injured my leg before 3 days into the games, and we had to work extra hard. I used to place my leg on ice 5 times, six times a day, because I had like swollen muscles on my ankle because of the training. I used to do intensive training, which led to maybe a slight injury, but heading into the games, 3 days there I was with my swollen leg. but my physiotherapist worked around the clock to at least help me to recover and get into shape. Yeah.
So let's get into this now, the event day proper. Here you are. You know, you have to go through 6 attempts. Eventually, you won 6.2 meters. You were tied with, you know, an athlete from Argentina, but it was on countback that you did win. Just take us through your jumps and, you know, what, before actually we get to that, there is something that people need to understand, Coach and Samson, so you can actually contribute to this. Once you get to the board where you've got to jump, there are two, and so here you are, you stepped, and you've got to jump this. There are those who jump, you know, and tend to bend their legs and land on both feet, and there are those who look like they're cycling in the air. What are the differences between those two motions, and depending on an athlete?
Yeah, it depends with the athlete, and especially we para athletes, we are our nature is different, so it also depends on the disability nature of the athlete. So there are some who are comfortable when they stretch the legs, and there are some who are comfortable when they do like cycling in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Samson, now let me come to you.
Yeah, I think the two methods you're talking about are the hitch kick and the hang. So the hitch kick is actually the one I use, and I think it is more of adaptability. It's the method which I saw was preferable to me. Yeah, yeah.
So now let's get to the event proper and just take us through your 6 jumps, because at one point you said, wait, 5.58. This is not what I've been even doing in training.
Yeah. So the first jump, heading into the first jump, the adrenaline is high. The crowd is amazing. I've never seen such a huge crowd. It was like
medal when it comes to Los Angeles, come 2028.
You know, there's that just about half. You know, the board is about just under 1 foot. But how do you make
centimeters?
Yeah, the 20 centimeters? Yes. How do you, that board that is there? How do you make sure that you get your foot at the right place? Because we see where they say somebody's missed maybe 2 centimeters, but there's another athlete you'll see it's about 15 centimeters, 6 inches of it.
Okay, if you look at the board itself, the white board, the legal board is 20 centimeters, and if you also look at the winning jump, I got 6.20 meters, but my foot was still back by around 40 centimeters.
40
centimeters. 40 centimeters to be exact. So
actually you jumped 20 centimeters
yes,
off the board.
Yes, and that's why if I actually got the board on that winning jump.
Actually, he's mentioned it, and here is that the jump that got him the silver medal that is on the screen. So we can just take a look and see just where his foot landed. Wow. Just right on the edge.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fast, but if you look at the slow-mo replay, my foot was really back, and if I had actually nailed the board, I would have actually won the gold medal. So I'm hopeful. This is my first Olympic Games, and getting a silver has been great. So I think the next thing I'm targeting maybe will be the world record, which is at 6.7 on my next Olympic Games or my next attempt.
Oh. Progression now, he's for him 6.2 now. A marker has been set.
Yes.
So which means now he has to be consistently a 6-meter jumper.
Yeah.
That's the implication that that's the standard that you've set for yourself, Samson.
Yes. Yeah.
So how do you keep him in that shape, such that we know that for the next 1 year and going into 2026, when the next Commonwealth Games are scheduled to take place, he can do 6.2. I mean, he can consistently do 6.2 and probably be doing 6.3, 6.4 meters.
It's just to ensure that he maintains his body weight or even cut it more. We work on his runway. We work on his speed. We should also work on his shooting and landing at the same time. And also he should also maintain the self-discipline that he has been having. He is a very disciplined athlete, and that also played a major role in his success.
So let's talk about shooting, because people may not take that. Due to the nature of your disability, you have had to be a lefty. So that means you jump off the left foot. So just tell us about his takeoff and how he's got to time that. The shooting, as you have called it.
The shooting. The last step when he gets the board is now that he's left-footed, the left foot is usually the one that gets the board. So the right foot is the free leg for him. So immediately when he gets the board, the right leg is the one that shoots fast. The shooting is stretching. Is the one that stretches fast, high, and then there's the left leg follows. So that's shooting. Immediately after you step on the board, you shoot going upwards so that you can go further. Because when you don't shoot, you don't go high. So you will just land nearby. Yeah.
And the landing itself now, because that's the other one, because they look at the farthest point of where your body landed whenever they do the measurement.
When you land, you should land on your feet and lie either sideways or forward, because the officials usually measure the last part of your body that was near the board. So you should land on your feet and then either lie sideways or forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Samson, we'll be talking about shooting and landing, and also you mentioned that you want to transition now to the 100. You want to go back to the 100 meters.
I want to go back to the 100 meters also.
Good. Hold that thought, because you said you actually moved from the 100 to the long jump. We'll be taking a short break, and we come back. We'll be getting the closing comments, from Samson Ojuk, and also Coach Henry Nzungi. You'll be telling us about what's required to see more athletes win medals at the Paralympic Games. 1 silver medal. Kenyans were wondering, where are they going to come from? So you could just take us through the athletics program that as you saw it, and as we review the Paralympic Games Paris 2024. Let's take a short break. Our sign language interpreter this hour has been Brian Burar. Back to Sports Check on this Monday morning, the 9th day of September 2024. We'll be getting back to a conversation about Paralympics. As you know, we prepare to move over to the Deputy President's residence in Karen at the North and Northeastern Development Initiative Forum that's taking place at the Deputy President's residence. And we've been having a conversation about para-athletics, the Paralympic Games coming to a close last night. And in studio with us, we've got the silver medalist, the one medal that Kenya won at the Paralympic Games Paris 2024. And Samson Ojuka, you can just show us the medal again,
Okay,
well packaged, no damage to it. And he won that silver medal in the T37 long jump. So, and for him, he says he would like to go back to where it all started, the 100 meters. Samson, that whole thought of transitioning back to the 100 meters, from the 100 to the long jump, now back to the 100, looking at LA 2028.
Yeah, I know, training is very expensive. And to do the 100 meters, you have to do the diets, to do the many physiotherapy sessions, and you can tell from the top-notch athletes like Omanyala, who can tell you very well that training is very expensive. It is not easy. And being disabled, it makes it even harder. So it's not an easy thing to do. So I want to, because of now, I want to, if I get support from various stakeholders and various people, I can be able to do the 100 meters and the long jump comfortably. Yes, which will be a very good thing for me. Yeah.
What's your time at the 100 meters if you were to do it right now? Right
now, I'll maybe do an 11.9. Yes.
And this is after even, dropping about 15 kgs.
Yes.
So your 92 was actually an impediment even for your speed.
Yeah, it was an impediment for my sprints, but I had to change that.
All right. So, coach, just take us through. A long jumper at 100-meter runner. Basically, these are sprinters. To use the common language, same was up.
Yeah.
What is it that you have to take him through every day, which I would call the house of pain that you have to take Samson through every day whenever he's training?
First is to ensure that he is psychologically prepared, and also I should also make sure that I know the recent event that is approaching. So now that he is done with the long jump at the Paralympic Games, after 1 month now we are going to focus on 100 meters, because that is what he is going to do at the Commonwealth Games come 2026. So one is to prepare him psychologically. Secondly is to go back, come up with a right training program to ensure that now he focuses on very well on 100 meters event. Yeah.
100 meters training, just take us through an ordinary week. Once the season starts,
Yes.
what would we would have to go through from Monday through Friday?
We have to do the build-up. We have to alternate the gym work, speed work, and also his, because we have to strengthen his legs. So first to work on gym, his speed, although not explosive, because it is just the beginning. Though when we approach the event, the training program usually changes as we approach the event, the competition. So during build-up, there is not much of the speed, but on the power and his physical preparation. Yeah.
Your power training, just take us through it, because you've got to develop a lot of power in the legs to do that jump, and also you've got to before I even come, to get the technique of how to make sure that, as the coach mentioned, you execute, how you shoot and how you land for you.
Okay, I have to go to the gym during pre-season before maybe I get long before the competition. So I have to do a lot of weights, leg presses, squat jumps, basically do strength training. Yeah, at the gym before I go into any competition, or way before I start doing maybe the technique on something, so that when I'm doing the technique I have the power. So when I'm nearing the event, I also do the weights, but lightweight training program. So that's how we do it.
Technique execution, let's come to that. Especially the shooting and also the landing, because you have to actually know that once you see this is now the sand pit getting closer and closer, how you land and make sure that you make the most of the distance.
Okay, I don't think I think about that, but during the competition, because at that point I have already done so many jumps such that it is in my head. So when I'm doing the competition, my coach is the one who watches me and tells me that he didn't like maybe something that I have to adjust. So it has to be embedded in you when you're training, so that come the competition, it's already in your head and you're used to the same technique all the time. Yes.
Oh, very, very well. So there you've had it, and as the season comes to a close, are you going to cool down on this, Samson?
I have to take a break for maybe 2 months, then I will get back.
All right, I'll be coming back to a story about Samson that, would really give you a lot of inspiration. But, Coach, you were there with Team Kenya out in Paris, and at the Stade de France, you watched the athletics program. For a very long time, we focused on our T11 athletes. We know about that. In the middle and long distances, just what is it that you saw? We saw a world record broken. We saw also the participation of Belarusian and Russian athletes as neutral Paralympic athletes, NPAs. and they were picking up the bulk of the medals. What did you pick up, that you'd like to bring back to the country so that we can get back to winning ways?
Yeah, what I can say that it is just a preparation. We have to go back to the drawing board, come up with a different strategy, because I realized that our athletes are very good when it comes to endurance, but they lack speed. So we have to do the speed endurance to ensure that the athlete maintains the endurance but boosts the speed. Because I realized that when their competitors, during the last lap, when the pace goes high, our athletes hang behind. So they lacked speed. And that is what we are going to work on, their speed work.
And now, the other thing is that, for example, for the T11 athletes, at least you would easily associate with them, visually, those with total blindness and how they work with their guides. How would you like to see that improved? I think we had the disqualification of Mushai in this event, I think, because I think the guides went a step ahead, but ideally, it's the athlete who is supposed to cross the line first.
Yeah, it is the athlete who is supposed to cross the...
Such that there's that balance.
Yeah, because the athlete is the competitor, not the guide. Mm. So the athlete has to step on the finishing line faster than the guide runner. Yeah, so it is just a technique. I think the guide, I don't know whether it is the excitement, but it was unfortunately it was a disqualification. But we are going to ensure that we do the sensitization on the guide runners and ensure that that will not happen again.
The other thing is encouraging para sport in the country, because this is something that I'd like each one of you to talk about this. Coach, for the visually impaired, we can talk about. I mean, if just closer to Nairobi, 2 major schools for where you can get para athletics. There is Joytown in Thika, where you can get sitting volleyballers, people in para athletics in the other categories, in the T30s, in the T40 series. And also you've got Thika School for the Blind, where you can get the T11 athletes, T11, T12, T13 athletes. What's being done to make sure that we get to them early?
In the next few weeks, we have a program. We are going to recruit young, talented athletes who are hungry for wins and success, and we nurture them, because if you realize, come next year, March and April, we are going to have the first qualifiers for Paralympic Games. So we don't have time to relax. We are going to hit the ground running immediately, recruit the athletes and nurture them. Yeah.
Now the IPC Academy, they've got the World Para Athletics coaching pathway. You already have got the coach, you're a coach already, you've got the experience from this. What are you doing to make sure that the teachers in, say, Thika School for the Blind, for example, or any other school that takes care of visually impaired young people, have got the right coaching staff, and you're able to pick the right guides for an athlete? Because, for example, which was one of the longest running, longest running was Henry Wanyoike and Kibunja, because Kibunja would have been a world-class marathoner anywhere in the world, but he gave up all of his ambitions to serve, to serve Henry Wanyoike.
Yes. We are going to have a workshop with the teachers, because with the CBC, sports is accommodated there. So we are going to have a workshop with the teachers down there in the schools, sensitize them on what they should be doing with the athletes, with the young athletes, and ensure that they channel them up to us when they immediately either close the school or they finish their education. Yeah.
What's the reception? What's the feedback that you're getting from those in the such schools? Because that's closer for you, the T11, T12, T13.
Yeah, they are telling us that there are young athletes there who are doing very well, and we should go and tap that talent. Yeah, and that is what we are going to do immediately.
For you, Samson, The impact, in Kenya we say it all starts in the roots and where you are. What's been the impact? What's the feedback, you get whenever people see you with the silver medal that you won in Paris?
Yeah, I want to be a source of motivation to many young people. Disability can happen to anyone, and you can see an example from the government demonstrations that were there, the police officer who lost his hand. Through therapy and guidance, because I'm sure in the demonstrations he was running all the time, so physically maybe he's fit, and now that maybe someone has lost his hands or something, does not mean that he can actually come into parasports and actually do something constructive with an outcome that has occurred. But some people like me who are born with the disability maybe have gotten the adaptation and are now I can now continue. So I would like to inspire maybe many young people, many people living with disabilities that they can actually make it on the biggest stage. And it is such an awesome opportunity, and it's only that I cannot display what I saw. Maybe I can only tell them, but truly it has been an amazing
Just describe it, because one of the things that, I was watching the closing ceremony and some of the things is that actually at the opening ceremony, one of the performing acts is a disabled musician. It's called Somebody Love. Yes. I don't know, the first name disappears, but he's a French musician, and even some of the break dancers we had last night were people with disability.
Yeah, they have actually embraced disability in a whole new level. Like when you walk into France, the reception, the children, the environment, most of them actually want to take pictures of you, and they want you to sign autographs. From how they live, the buses have adapted to and actually taken into consideration people living with a disability. So there's actually so much we can do as a country to maybe foster and maybe create more awareness and maybe take into consideration the people who are living with a disability in this country.
Samson Ojuka, he's a silver medalist, the only medal that Kenya won at the Paralympic Games Paris 2024. Later this year, he's going to be having a second party. He's going to be earning his Bachelor of Laws degrees from Kenyatta University. Your journey as a law student and what you would like to impact society with once you graduate to that and go to Karen for the, to the Kenya School of Law to be, for your pre-admission to the bar studies.
Yeah. It has been actually very difficult to find the balance between education and sports talent. This is because during my training program I have to train maybe thrice a day, and I have to go to school. I also have to rest, so it has been a very long journey, but I'm glad that it's coming to an end. Because when I travel, maybe I travel for maybe 2 weeks, and I'm in camp for 2 weeks. That's a month lost, and when I come back, I have to really to stay in the library just to catch up. So I'm glad, and I'll be happy that I'll be graduating. So it is also nice because I had a principal in high school in Maseno. Who used to tell us to be all around athletes, all around people. Whether it's in sports, education, you have to be an all-rounded person. Yeah.
What impact would you like to have in the parasports space with your Bachelor of Laws degree? It's not every day, we get an athlete who is a lawyer. We know of doctors, we know of those who are in business, we know of those in communications. I think we have medical scientists here and there. We've got a couple of doctors, but your space, law.
Yeah, there's actually sports law. I can actually go into various branches, maybe international law also. And I would like to motivate people that it does not matter where you come from, who you are, because I come from Kayole Eastlands, and I've been impactful there because many people actually see and they are actually shocked that to see me in such spaces. And I'm also sure some of them have been calling me because they're seeing me here. And I'm really happy. It's such a great feeling.
What about for specifically, what would you like to do with your law degree for people living with disabilities and also for para sports, specifically that?
Okay. For para sports, I would like to do their legal services, maybe their contracts when they go into sponsorships. I would like to draft their constitution, their constitution, and make sure that the laws that actually that are actually put in place are not stringent to them and are not oppressive on their fundamental rights, because most of the things or most of the laws are made without consideration of people living with disability. I would actually like to encompass that after my training at the Kenya School of Law.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, client number one, Henry Nzungi. So he said he's going to make things at least a little bit easier for you who are in the parasport space.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Samson Ojuka Opio, he is a silver medalist. Show us that medal one more time. Watu wakayole wajue ya kwamba. So, kwa Kayole sasa, you wanaita nini?
Wanaita bling. Bongo.
Bongo. Wanaita bling.
Ama bongo.
Ama?
Bongo.
Bongo. So there you've learned it. So akona bongo ya. So silver mnaita. Bongo ya.
Bongo ya silver.
Akona bongo ya silver. So akona bongo ya silver. Then Kayole, Samson Ojuka Opio, silver medalist, the only medal Kenya won at the Paralympic Games Paris 2024. Thank you very much, and we want to see you impact that space. Wale wanakutumia message waambie shukran kwa kututazama. Thank you for watching. Coach, you want to give us some closing words?
Yes. Once again, I would like to congratulate Samson for flying our flag high, and secondly, I would like to congratulate our government. Government is our main sponsor, and thirdly, I would like to congratulate our federation, Kenya National Paralympic Committee, for working hard, and I personally for giving me that opportunity to mentor Samson and prepare him for the biggest event in the world, Paralympic Games. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Henry Nzungi is a para-athletics coach. Coaches Samson, and by the way, for Coach Henry Nzungi, he is also a former para-athlete, T13. T13 is where you've got partial visual impairment. Yeah. So yes, his vision, he doesn't have normal vision, so he's had to he's got his experiences as a para-athlete and now still contributing to parasport. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And for your teammates, we wish them a safe journey as they come back from Paris.
Yes, we wish them a safe journey. And God mercies. Yeah.
Croissant. Ulizipenda ma?
Hapana, nikatamani ugali.
Kenyans and ugali. That has always been the case whenever they travel abroad. I didn't expect that coming there because I expected everyone talks about the French cuisine, but it looks like food from home is the best. Highlights from the Paralympic Games coming up next as we wait for Martin Kenu to join us on Zoom. He's given his apologies. He's had some trouble with his car, but he's offered to join us via Zoom to talk about technology and science in sports development, and also a review of the 2023-2024 athletic season with Barnaba Koril. Let's join the highlights. Our sign language interpreter is Ann Wangeshi.